Yeah, hello. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our second exclusive webinar today. We're excited to showcase some real life use cases of how Campfire and Jira integration also with Agentforce AI are changing the way teams manage implementation of technology solutions, including development and testing. And before we dive deeper into our webinar, let's get familiar with today's team. My name is Berkey Kellyji. I'm head of sales at Peeklogic.
Martha, we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so my name is Marta. I'm the project manager at Peeklogic, and today I want to share with you and introduce our special guest. This is Stephanie Taylor, CEO and founder of Campfire, and Ty Alibi, the product manager at Campfire.
Thanks, Marta and Burke, for having us today, and for those attending. My name is Stephanie Taylor, CEO and founder of Campfire. Fun fact about me, I grew up as a SaaS consultant, and before launching Campfire, I founded a consulting firm in 2015. That's where we built Campfire to support our client implementations. Excited to be here today and to show you how Campfire and Peeklogic can help consulting teams run smoother, more transparent implementations, both internally and with your clients.
Hi, and I'm Ty Alibi, Campfire Product Manager.
So thank you, Ty. Thank you, Stephanie. So before we dive deeper into demo, Stephanie, could you please give us a bit of background of Campfire?
Of course. So as I mentioned, I grew up as a SaaS consultant, and during the first decade of my career, I was using a variety of tools and spreadsheets to support implementations for my customers. I was frustrated that not only did I have to use a variety of tools, but none of them are really designed for consultants and supporting consultant workflows. Most of the products out there are developer or project manager focused. So they lack the unique ability for a SaaS consultant to manage delivery end to end. And honestly, I spent a lot of time trying to gather details from various sources to help my client understand where we were progressing, or more often, where we were stuck in the implementation. When I started working with the Salesforce platform, I saw an opportunity to combine the details and workflow I needed as a consultant. So Campfire enables consulting teams to manage dynamic customer requirements, build cycle details, all the back and forth in testing and QA cycles, and finally deployment planning. We like to say that Campfire is designed by consultants for consultants.
So appreciate it, Stephanie. Thank you. So can you talk a little bit about the Campfire and Peeklogic partnership?
Oh, for sure. While Campfire excels at managing the implementation project lifecycle, organizations often rely on tools like Jira for agile development. And that's where Peeklogic comes in. We've partnered with them because they've built a robust Campfire Jira connector, among others, that are available on the App Exchange. And this allows seamless real-time synchronization between these two systems. So together, Campfire and Peeklogic means you can provide your consulting teams with the tools they need to support your customer implementations and also allow your developers to leverage tools best suited for their workflows. Specifically, I'm referring to keeping functional requirements, system system configuration, testing, and approvals in Campfire, adhering to your implementation methodology, and continue using tools like Jira for sprint management, development work, and issue tracking. And this ensures changes and progress updates flow transparently between those teams. So we're really excited about the partnership with Campfire and Peeklogic, and to highlight a couple of those use cases for you today.
Thank you for the overview, Stephanie. Ty, I think most people are here today and they're familiar with Jira. Can you explain how teams leverage Campfire with Jira?
Yeah, that's a great question, Berkey. You're right. Most people have used Jira.
Oh, Ty, we lost your audio.
Yeah, sorry.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Let me know if you can hear me now.
You're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. You're right, Berkey. Most people have used Jira or are familiar with it. Campfire is a new solution that we've launched recently on the Salesforce platform and listed on the App Exchange. But it has been around much longer than that. Our consulting practice actually has used it over the last 8 years to drive successful implementations. And while Jira is a powerful tool to manage software development projects, it wasn't really built for managing client implementations. I've used Jira. I've used Jira for implementations, but I quickly switched to Campfire after we built it. Here on the screen, you can see some of the key.
Hey, Ty, we keep losing your audio.
I guess that sometimes it happens. So it's fine. Yeah. In the meantime, don't hesitate to get familiar with the details that you can see on the screen. And once Ty will get back, we'll hear more details.
And also, it seems that we have a question from the LinkedIn user, user stories or solution architects.
Yes, actually both are covered. So we start with a business process and align requirements to business processes, and those align with user stories in Jira. And then solution architects as well, we have them on our consulting teams leveraging Campfire. So.
All right, guys, sorry. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. These technical glitches, always at the wrong time. All right, so I was while I was explaining this.
Oh, we are still losing your audio, Ty. At least you can hear us. And maybe, Marta, if you want to go to the poll.
Yeah. In meantime, we are waiting. Yeah. Here on the screen, you might see the poll, right? Basically, poll and the questionnaire. So we would kindly appreciate if the visitors and the audience could share your experience with the implementation of the project, right? So in the meantime, don't hesitate to share the questions and the experience as well.
Many of these are things we would commonly find we'd run into, and even we still do. And Campfire won't solve, managing scope creep, but it allows a lot more visibility and transparency when those things come up. So I know one of my favorites is number 5, customers having access and visibility into the phases of the project to stay aligned. We get a lot of questions. Our project managers spend a lot of time answering questions from clients. So we've gotten feedback that it's fantastic that they can kind of log in, they see where our build statuses are, they see if we're ready for testing, etc.
Yeah,
it seems that we have a question right now. And the question is, how do you handle the influx of requests? ServiceNow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so typically when those requests are coming in, whether that's from ServiceNow or Service Cloud on platform, those tickets can be converted into requirements. So if it's not just troubleshooting an issue, but it's actually, hey, we want an enhancement. So we know a lot of times end users are reporting what they'd like to see in the system or improvements. And we convert those into requirements and then follow through the process. You can put them into a release, sprint release, and have proper testing, etc.
Thank you, Stephanie. Another one here is role level security.
Yes, we have a prepackaged set of permissions and a few different personas, both internally for your consulting team. So you have, project managers, consultants, you have build team members, et cetera. And then on your client side as well. So having their project manager, executive sponsors can log in and see statuses. And we do have our customers engage with Campfire. So they're actually approving requirements, they're logging test results. Sometimes, depending on how the project we're running, they would actually create, certain users can create requirements as well. And Ty, how are we doing here? I still do not hear you. All right, so perhaps what we can do is move on to the first use case, and Ty, maybe you can run the demo and I can run us through it. I can talk through it. Yes, so the first use case that we're going to go through is the handoff and between your consulting teams and for certain requirements that require development, handing those off to developers that are kind of living and breathing in Jira. So what we'll be showing is that your system requirements get handed off and are created in Campfire and automatically trigger a Jira ticket using the Peeklogic Salesforce Jira connector. So these won't be all of the requirements end up in Jira. It would just be those that you select and identify as needing development. But you'll be able to manage on those requirements, kind of working back and forth, adding comments, and et cetera.
Great. So,
all right.
Yeah, I'm going to show the tie screen. Right now you should see, just a second. We want to show you the first use case, basically, right? So here is the tie screen, and
excellent.
Yeah. So Stephanie.
Yes. Yeah. So what we're looking at here is a Campfire dashboard. For those of you familiar with Salesforce, it should look very familiar. This particular dashboard shows you important details about the progress of each phase of the project. This is powerful because you don't need to guess as how many requirements have been signed off on, or if there's scope creep, what's ready for build, what's ready for testing, et cetera. And you can really drill down into the details that you need. So you can also see that each phase has its own dashboard, providing teams with the visibility into key metrics for that phase. So if you're behind on testing, just looking at the testing dashboard to understand why you're behind, which functional areas may be lagging behind, and taking away the guesswork about the actual progress that's happening on the project. So let's start with a new requirement. In this example, we're implementing Salesforce Sales Cloud for our client, Apple. They've given us a requirement on how they want to manage lead conversion and qualifying an opportunity as part of their future state sales process. So Ty will enter that requirement here in the form of a user story. And we'll also be entering in some key information, such as who gave the requirement, and that's going to be Catherine Manning. And Ty will make himself the implementation owner, so he's kind of playing the role of the consultant. And the implementation owner is the person responsible for building and delivering the requirement. So he's setting a few fields here, and then we'll save this record. And you're probably wondering, what's happening behind the scenes. So based on the information we already have in our system for similar requirements, Agentforce AI is using that to enrich this requirement with a lot more details than what was entered by Ty, and also providing us with the level of effort needed to build the solution. And one thing to note here is we're showing, kind of creating one requirement at a time. And while we do that throughout some projects, some of our customers may need to add requirements while you're going through the implementation. Often you're uploading these requirements in bulk. So a lot of this, AI activity that you're seeing happening behind the scenes will happen in mass when you upload those requirements. So you'll see here that the solution details were added. Ty did not complete those out. So this was based on other requirements from other customer projects, et cetera, entered into the system. You've got kind of your database there. And these are written to your specifications, the way you write solution notes, et cetera. It'll all be captured. All right, so let's access the Jira subtab and look at the Jira ticket that was created. There we go. So your developer will mostly be working out of Jira to build the solution and to document it. Once the developer is ready to start building the solution, he or she will set the status to in progress. And the developer can also collaborate with different team members, sending comments via Jira, and they'll sync back to Campfire. So you can have your consultants living in Campfire, your developers living in Jira, and still communicate seamlessly between the two. So Ty's going to paste some pre-drafted comments in here to show how they get entered into Jira, and then we'll auto-magically show you how those appear in Campfire. Give them a second to copy paste. There's a whole lot of comments in this one. Excellent. So now we're back in Campfire, and we'll be able to go down and see those comments that were entered. And apologies, I'm probably running through the script a little faster than I was expecting for the demo. He was going to be doing the show and tell portion. There we go. So we've got our comments entered in from the developer that the consultant can see. And of course, you can add notifications, workflow, things like that. So if you want a notification to go to the consultant, which would be maybe the implementation owner, typically they get notified so they know the comment is there just from typical Salesforce notification workflows. All right, so now we'll also see, let's go check the stage in Campfire. So we'll notice that the stage is now in build and the build status is in progress. So this is based on updates that were made in Jira automatically updating in Campfire. And assuming the developer is finished building the solution, he or she would set that to the status to done in Jira. And then that will sync back. So we'll again kind of update the status here to done and show us back in Campfire. So while Ty's pulling that up, there we go. So this real-time sync between Campfire and Jira means that project managers and implementation leads are always able to measure the progress of the development work. This approach also eliminates the swivel chair problem of entering data manually in two systems. I've personally been there, having to update Jira and some spreadsheet or Smartsheet, et cetera. So we definitely want to allow people to kind of live in what they're used to and not change things up on them for their workflows. So greatly improves accuracy and completeness of data, builds alignment among your team members, and reduces that back and forth between consultants and developers, which will then speed up the build and QA processes. So overall, you're able to move a bit faster for your customers. And Berke, can you please show us in more detail how the connector and the syncing between Campfire and Jira works so they don't just take my word for it?
Sure. Let's take a quick look at how the background works. Can you see my screen over here?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, beautiful. So right now, what you see on the Jira tab here is our component. You see it right now here, but you can drop the same component on any object in Salesforce. It can be standard or custom. So totally your call. The columns that you see also here, whatever you want to put here is for the fields. If you need extra Jira details, just add those fields to the view, and that will be it. Also, your Salesforce team and your Jira team will communicate with each other, not just through emails or messages. Just when we click on view, here we get the comments and the attachments. So what we can do, everything shows up in Jira and Salesforce and bounces back, bidirectionally, no copy pasting. Let me show you an example here. Let's open this first and close this. Yeah, so I just want to make a comment to test it with you, testing from Salesforce, let's say, and I'm gonna upload an attachment. There you go, just took a screenshot. Beautiful. Gonna do it again. Yeah. There we go. So I uploaded the attachment and the comment, and let's see. Yeah, our second attachment just now synced here. And also testing from Salesforce. Here's Vladislav Vocella, integration user. It can be either per user or name principal, just an admin user. And if you test it from Jira site, let's see, testing from Jira. And also here, if I take a quick screenshot and change the status, let's say in progress from done. Let's see how it reflects to Salesforce. I just need to, yeah, as you see, I got my comment over here testing from Jira, the third attachment already here. And once I go back here, status change from done to in progress. So these are all happening through automatically, but if you want to do it manually, it's also optional and completely up to you. As well as we get the flows here. So based on some certain scenarios, you can create the record in Salesforce or take it in Jira automatically. And here we get update, for example, Jira issue event linked. You can keep the status and statuses in bot systems, match them without manual clicks, as well as the notification. And this one allows us to notify any user in Jira or Salesforce if there's a new comment, new update, or new attachment. the last one that I want to show you is very critical for many companies because they need to check the progress, what's going on. So you can create a report for the Jira tickets, not just by Campfire requirement request, but any object that you can imagine. And you can filter it by sprint, status, owner, whatever you need, right? And see the ticket progress live and no spreadsheets required.
Okay, so Birgit, this sounds like a real game changer for managing complex projects, right? But I have a question. What are the biggest benefits for the clients with this flow?
Well, thanks, Martha. So the biggest wins are speed and accuracy. Automating issue creation reduces the bottlenecks and miscommunication here. So the teams know exactly what to build and write and when. And plus, the integration keeps all stakeholders aligned, which is crucial for large or distributed teams.
I see. Thank you very much for sharing this. In meantime, I'm going to show you the second use case. And while we are expecting to pass to the second use case, right? Again, we encourage you to leave the comments, to share your insights, share your experience. We would happily answer your questions. I see a few questions here. Yes, and the latest one was, okay, you use metadata and data dictionary for data governance?
Yeah, you can. Certainly metadata, but the data dictionary you can for data governance.
I see. Okay, so Ty, are you with us? Can we hear you?
All right, I'll keep going. It'll just be my voice. So, excellent. So the next one here that we're going to show you, I think Ty's doing a fantastic job demoing and trying to keep up with my pace. All right, so this second use case focuses on eliminating manual steps in the QA testing process. So when a Jira development ticket is marked as done, as we saw in the first use case, the Peeklogic Connector automatically triggers the automation to create and assign a QA test case in Campfire. Agentforce enhances that test case with the testing steps, expected results, and other details. So we'll take a look at that now.
Yeah, okay, just right now we're going to share Ty's screen. Yeah.
Which for anyone who's ever had to write testing steps, expected results for hundreds, if not thousands of requirements, this is huge. So huge time saver and frees up some of your best and brightest to kind of focus on their consulting roles versus documenting testing steps. All right, so we're good. We use the same requirements that we did in the first use case. So you'll notice here that the stage equals QA, meaning it's ready for someone to test it. And Campfire does support QA cycles as well as multiple testing cycles. So if you have unit testing cycles with your customers, end-to-end cycles, etc. So we support all of that as well. We're just focusing on QA here today. So when we click on it, we can see the details, including the steps to test the solution. A QA tester will follow those steps to test the solution and document the results. So we've got a widget here to help log the test result in this case. So this is what the QA tester would go in, mark it as passed, failed. We'll mark it as failed and provide additional results, which these details will go back to the developer about why it failed. And your QA testers will provide better results than your customers. So more detail, right? And then we can mark it as passed. And so for the sake of time, we'll go ahead and do that. Happy path here. And as you can see, the indicator, I see we're kind of working, Salesforce is working behind the scenes, but we'll see that the indicator goes for orange to green, showing that the test case has passed the QA testing. And the customer, in this case, Catherine, could then log into the community portal to see which test cases have passed without having to kind of ask what's ready for testing for the delivery team. So this really helps when you have iterative cycles where things are going kind of back and forth. You've tested, it failed, they want to make a change, you go make the change. You want to go back to the customer and you want them to be able to test that in real time, between UAT cycles, et cetera. So this really allows you to keep progressing. All right. We see the green. Ty, you can show the green up there. Yes, the green status. So we finished QA testing. All good. Brooke, you want to take us home? Brooke, can you hear me?
Yeah, right now I can hear. So, sorry. So Stephanie, thank you for doing the demo. It was a hard situation. I understand the Thai. Sorry, but don't worry. We dealt with Stephanie. All good. I got a question for you right now. So, as a CEO and the founder of Campfire, Stephanie, how have you seen this impact the QA teams in the field?
Honestly, it's been transformative. I think I alluded to this a little bit earlier. If you've ever had to, write test steps, et cetera, and all the handoffs back and forth, I think QA teams spend less time figuring out what's ready to test or if they've got responses back from their questions, et cetera, and more time actually testing with a focus on quality work. So automation does reduce human error and makes test coverage more consistent. So this ultimately leads to faster release cycles, better quality, and really keeping you on schedule and on budget. And all that's going to add up to a better customer experience for you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for this insight. It's informative. In meantime, not forget about the chat, right? But before we get deeper into this, I have also a little question, and probably you, Stephanie, can help us with this. So could you share a specific example or customer story that highlights these benefits?
Yeah, absolutely. All of our customers have benefited from this automation and AI capability by making the testing cycle more efficient and reducing cost. One customer in particular reduced their QA cycle time by 36%, cutting out the manual creation of hundreds of test cases in each build cycle. This freed up their QA engineers so they could focus on exploratory testing and finding critical defects rather than administrative tasks, such as creating test cases manually and updating project managers.
I see. Thank you very much for sharing the details. And my last question today, yes, it's for you, Berke. Any final thoughts on how this fits into the broader DevOps ecosystem?
Well, so this kind of automation bridges gaps between development and QA, which are often major friction points that is complained by clients. So it supports continuous integration and delivery goals by ensuring test cases keep pace with development without delay. So while Jira can easily connect with DevOps tools, Campfire gives you visibility into all of the phases that are critical to your project.
I see. Thank you. Thank you for all these details that you shared today. I want to stop basically here, and I want to devote a little time to our participants, to our visitors. Yes. And once again, this is time for sharing your questions in LinkedIn comments, right? So I see that we have dozens in our chat. So let's go.
Yeah. We'll try to run through them. So easy one, softball question here. Is Campfire built on Salesforce or does it just connect to it? It's native to Salesforce, so it is built on Salesforce. There's no connector to that. And possible to sync in attachments and files. So I think Berke demonstrated that when he was showing a little behind the scenes. So yes, most certainly you can upload in either and have them sync back and forth. What else do we have here? Christian's excited that it's all being done on one page. Me too. And Gabriella, what happens if a developer reopens a Jira ticket? Does the test case update? Yes, if we didn't show that, I think it was part of the script. I might have glossed over that part. But yes, we can pull a ticket back. So if a Jira marks it as done and then pulls it back to in progress, it will update as well. And can I turn off sync for certain types of tasks or tickets? So, Berke, I'll let you handle that one on the connector side.
Just a second. It just went out. Could you repeat the question, please?
Oh, sure. Yes. I was just going to change up the voice here, but it did. Where did it go? I think the question was basically that could you turn off the sync for certain types of tasks or tickets?
Yeah, so this kind of synchronization is completely up to you. What to sync or what to not. It is valid for Salesforce records and also for Jira tickets. And also, I see here one more, Adam Gökçe. Thank you for the compliment, Adam. He asks us, is there any filtering system, whatever is generated by AI, in terms of getting, implementing test cases? What is the efficiency of building and proceeding test cases with AI in this platform?
Yes.
Well,
So,
Stephanie.
go ahead. No, you can go ahead.
No, please, Stephanie.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the efficiency of building and proceeding with the test cases, when you're with test cases, we typically have multiple iterations and variances and test steps, et cetera. So you're just saving a ton of time in documentation. So having those automatically created for you and further leveraging the experience that you have across projects. So you're on Salesforce where you have all of your other project information, all of your requirements, all of your previous test steps, test cases, test results, right? All living on platform that Agentforce can leverage all of that. So the power with AI, there's some review needed. You want to make sure that, hey, they got it quite, exactly right, et cetera. But ultimately you're saving loads of time. And otherwise, I mean, you just document. You're not going to go through an Excel spreadsheet and kind of grab this field and copy paste over here. It's really hard to find those details to try to leverage that and try to save time. Ultimately, you spend a lot more time kind of hunting and picking for the right answer than you do copy and pasting. So we find that customers save a lot of time with just not having to write those things out manually.
Well, it was a great answer. Thank you, Stephanie. I wouldn't do this much detail. That's why I passed the word to you. Thank you.
I spent a lot of time writing test cases and test steps in my career, so it hits close to home.
It seems we don't have any other question, but we can wait 30 seconds more in case if somebody has. And after that, we will go to the wrap-up part. And I see. All right.
Okay.
Well, Adam, on behalf of our team, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming to our webinar and asking, engaging. Thank you. So, well, I can go ahead and wrap up. And these use cases can demonstrate how the Campfire and your integration with Agentforce AI can significantly, boost productivity, improve the communication part, and streamline implementation project delivery. And if you want to learn more or discuss how the solution can help your team, please reach out to us anytime. For the Campfire part, please, you can send a message directly to Stephanie or Ty. For Peeklogic Connector, please send to us either to Marta or to me, and we will be demonstrating the products, especially the personalized ones. Other than that, the last questions, Fyodor. Amazing tools. Quick question. Would you recommend Agentforce for small teams that don't use Salesforce yet, but want to start automating QA and test coordination? Stephanie.
Sure. I think if you have the data on platform, you can get started anywhere. And so if you've got the data elsewhere that maybe you can kind of import from previous projects, et cetera. I mean, if just a new org, Agentforce won't do anything for you, right? It's got to have the data to work with. But if you have a way of getting that in there or just starting to kind of build it up, I think pretty quickly, given the maybe size or scale of your projects, you'd certainly be able to start leveraging AI.
Thank you, Stephanie. So thank you all for your time today. I see you in the next webinar. And I want to personal thank to Stephanie and Ty for joining us and showing how Campfire is, helping the teams. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.